He was the youngest chef to ever receive a 3-star rating from the New York Times. At just 23, Marcus Samuelsson broke out as a top chef. He's since become one of America's most recognizable cooks. Jane Pauley tells us more of his incredible journey on this week's Sunday Morning. Here's a preview.
I just felt like, what else can I do that is meaningful, not just for me and my family, but actually beyond me? And starting to look around, still to this day, I felt there was a lack of women in the kitchen, in the professional kitchens, and people of color. And that was so strange to me because the people that taught me cooking and the people who inspired me the most are women, and a lot of them are of color. Edna Lewis, or it's Leah Chase, or just great people that work side by side. So I said, what can I do to be part of that and change that a little bit? So I said, well, I can, what if, right? What if I open a restaurant in Harlem? What if I open a restaurant that's a little bit more inclusive and affordable? It's a little bit more for all, a little more democratic. And that started really after 9/11. That's really.
What did 9/11 have to do with that?
Well, I think I think 9/11 has affected every single person in New York or in America in some way. And for me, I cooked in the tower 1 week before that, so I knew a lot of those cooks and dishwashers and back of house staff.
Windows on the World?
Windows of the World, yeah. Michael O'Monaco was kind enough to have me in his kitchen 1 week before 9/11. And it shook me in a way that you start to ask those other questions in life. What am I doing this for? What is all this worth? Should I just cook for very exclusive people in Midtown all my life? I started to ask myself questions. What else can I do? And it was post that when I started to think about, I love this city. I want to stay, because 9/11 definitely asked me that question. Should I stay? I think we all ask those questions, right? Should I stay in New York? You know, and I choose to come to this country. I come from a very soft, cushy place, Sweden. I'm not a refugee, I'm an immigrant. And I said, you know what, this is not the right time to leave. I'm staying, and I'm gonna double down. For me, it's really about flexing the muscles of being a big-time chef. So saying, hey, you know what, let's change the footprint of dining. Let's look at urban America. Let's look at Harlem as a dining opportunity versus an opportunity that we disconnect from the city. If we miss the opportunity to talk about our neighborhood, we haven't provided one of the pillars of why the people are coming here. I love the culture that is in Harlem, which is vibrant. It has a lot of character, a lot of personality.
Flavor.
It has a lot of flavor, exactly. It's a neighborhood. People think about Harlem as Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a big borough. We're Harlem, we're a neighborhood and known worldwide. So I think, you know, I take a lot of pride in not only having my business here, but also calling Harlem my home.
And Jane Pauley joins me now. Jane, I can't wait to see the rest of it. I think it's so interesting to hear him talk about 9/11 and the connection that he feels with New York City, because he was born in Ethiopia, raised in Sweden. Did that surprise you?
His narrative is remarkable. I'll tell it briefly. He was 2.5 years old during an epidemic of tuberculosis in Ethiopia. His mother had tuberculosis, his sister had tuberculosis. The mother walks them, these two children, she's sick, 75 miles to Addis in Ethiopia, finds a hospital, she dies. The children are adopted by a Swedish couple, so he grew up he's Swedish. English, I believe, must be his 4th or 5th language. Swedish, French, German, then maybe there are others, and then English. But during that conversation, I kind of teased him that he was a Harlem American. That when he talks about you know, we and our, and he's chosen his community. He's lived in Harlem for 10 years. He planned Red Rooster, which is a destination restaurant. And by destination, we happened to be shooting there in the morning. The first lunch opens at 11:30. there were people in line waiting to get in, and there was, and I'm noticing this, Asians, Swedish, and the others that turned out to be German, because tourists, the time zone, you know, they're all running to catch planes or just got off a plane. The Red Rooster Harlem is a destination, but it's also a local restaurant for walk-ins, you know, from the Harlem neighborhood. And, you know, you know, people from Manhattan who just want, you know, to find out what the excitement is about. It's a very successful restaurant, and he's a celebrity chef.
Yes, he is.
He doesn't call himself, but I love the way I wanted to flex my muscles as a big-time chef. Yeah. When he said that, what he meant was he's kind of being playful about the big-time chef, but by flex muscles, he's saying, what can I do with this? I have the potential to have impact. What can I do with that? Flex my muscles, that impact. He's a remarkable character, a remarkable figure. And he can cook.
Yeah, he can cook. By the way, he's a great cook. But it's interesting, too, to hear him speak, and when he gives his answers, just so much thought behind it. You were telling me off camera that when it comes to Red Rooster, one of the things he wanted is to have that diversity that you're talking about, so people from all those different backgrounds can kind of rub elbows and kind of cross-pollinate and have that great mix of people.
That's what he's going for. If you Google the Red Rooster Harlem, it'll say I think it's a Southern accented American comfort food, and it's all of those things. But he wants the room filled with diversity of maybe, you know, a third tourists, many of them from abroad, as I described, a third of them who called for reservations, and a third who just, well, I don't need reservations. This is my neighborhood, doors open, give me a table. So it's about a third, a third, a third that gives the place a distinctive a flavor. I watched him cook his famous Yardbird fried chicken, which is cooked whole in a big pot of boiling oil, and having been seasoned with a big bulb of garlic and robust rosemary for about 17 minutes, and then seasoned with the special secret spices from Ethiopia, which he gave me a little sample of, and I'm you didn't tell me it was time release hot. So it's fried chicken. What culture doesn't do some kind of fried chicken? So if you're going to do fried chicken, it better be good and it better be distinctive, and it definitely is.
Oh, I can't wait to see more of it. Jane Pauley, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Elaine.
And you can watch Jane's entire interview on Sunday morning's annual edition of The Food Issue.